In this video, we're going to show you how to add extra distance to your drives with this secret technique. Okay, Mike, we're gonna help our viewers today with kind of tongue-in-cheek secret technique.
Sure. That was clickbait, by the way.
Yeah, thanks for clicking. Hope it worked. So to a lot of people, it is a secret.
A lot of people will have never heard this. If you're a subscriber to the channel, you've heard us kind of talk about, but we really haven't explained it like we're going to do today.
We haven't really hammered it home, and you know, I was never taught this.
No.
Kind of figured it out on my own, watching good players. But I haven't even seen many videos done about it, and it's a concept that we kind of coined recentering.
Right.
Right? So walk us through that.
So when our bodies, well, some of our bodies are round. Most of our bodies are kind of oblong shaped. So like a sponge, like we don't have our sponge here, we'll use our marker can here. So most of our bodies, if you look like we're looking straight down on the golfer, you know, you got the shoulders are gonna be the widest part and his body's gonna pivot like this, rather than, you know, some of our shapes more like that. So they're gonna pivot like that. So as the body pivots, right, it's hard to keep it pivoting around a dead center spot. You would really feel like you're moving away from or towards the target might be the better way, which is certainly Hall of Famers that did that. But what we see many golfers do is really feel like they've got to go way over this way. And that's probably one of the worst things that we can do is with the driver is really start to drift way off the ball. So when we say recentering, we need to move our pivot in the backswing just enough so somewhere near the top we can get back to centered.
Yeah.
Back where our pressure is right around 50-50.
You know, we named the company Athletic Motion Golf for a reason. Everything you do in sports, usually with any kind of throwing sport or trying to move something fast.
So if I'm going to throw this at that wall there behind the camera, I'm going to be on my back foot, right? Pressure shift to the back, and I'm going to recenter. Now, recenter isn't my goal. It's stopping at 50-50, but I'm going to pass through that 50-50 on the way forward.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to do. That's the secret move pros do so well that eludes so many of us regular golfers playing.
Absolutely. And you know, if you grab the ball, we've done some work with players using this on the swing catalyst to show pressure. If you were to grab a ball and try to almost like submarine throw it, you would gear up over here on the right foot. You'd start recentering right in here when the arm got over your head, and then you would whip through. It's the same thing. You're trying to create speed, so it's no different with a club. Your pressure moves to the right, then you start recentering the hips. So the hips may move over to the right a little. Right. Then they're going to recenter, and then they move left. So there's a definite flow to that motion that creates athleticism.
There's a really innate movement there, and we've asked. We do this quite often. We've asked anywhere from major league pitchers to guys who say they can't throw a lick, right? And they all move the same way. We've yet to see anyone rear back and throw like this, right? So nobody does that making a generic athletic movement, but we see that all the time in the golf swing.
And I think what it comes from when you start disassociating golf from other sports is that we've been told to load up.
Right.
So loading up to the golfer means turning everything to the right, and as you max out your turn, they think you need to have the max amount of weight on your right leg. I see it all the time.
Well, it's been taught for a long time. The whole idea of if you want to hit the ball farther, bigger turn, load up more in the backswing, all those things, well, that's great. But that creates so much room to cover in the downswing that most people physically, and we're talking about the best players in the world, they don't create those obstacles in their swing. Less skilled golfers absolutely can't recover from that.
Yeah, and you know, to show the opposite of that, the correct way that we would like to see, yes, there's some movement, getting some pressure into this right foot, and maybe a tiny bump to the right. You see Rory, you see a lot of good players do it. But right in here, instead of continuing over as you pivot, as you continue to finish the backswing, this hip will actually kind of get that way toward the target a little. Right? So it literally recentering to where you started from. So you're going to feel more 50-50 up here at the top than 90-10.
So we're going to explain to you, that's the concept.
That's the concept.
And we're going to explain to you how to do it and why it's so important to recenter in the golf swing.
And we'll give you a drill to maybe practice at home.
That's right. All right, so here's how to do this. Here's how to recenter yourself. So we're going to put our captain's chairs. We're going to frame Sean up in our captain's chairs. So Sean, take your address. So I'm gonna get this one right up pretty level with his outside there. You got the same one over here.
Got it away a little. There
Okay,
we go.
perfect. So
Okay.
we've got about a fist club head width on this front side, a little bit tighter on the back side.
Okay.
So let's wheel you to kind of that halfway back spot. All right, so he should not really have pulled his hips towards me this early in the golf swing. And a really easy checkpoint for this is, I'm gonna change frames here. When this club is as far away from the target as it's ever gonna be in the golf swing, that's when his hip, his body, his lateral motion can be as far away from the target in the golf swing.
And what you'll notice, yeah, I get a little bit closer here, but I gain some distance here too because I'm turning away from this chair.
Spray can here, his hips started like this. When they rotate, they get narrower essentially.
That's right, they get narrow, so you'll see some gapping on this side, and I'll get a little bit closer over here at this point in the swing. So what happens from here on up?
Well, let's stay with that spot for a second.
Okay.
So these things get off track very early in golf swings. What we see a lot of times is golfers know, okay, they see great players, they're over on this front foot at impact, which is something we all should strive for. But they think, okay, if they're here at impact, I'll get there real early in the backswing. And we see a lot of pivoting around the hips, a lot of backing the hips up, and what that causes in the downswing is almost the opposite.
Yeah, the two things, backing up,
Yep.
or they're so far ahead, they just keep right on sliding.
And they got to just throw the club at
and
the ball.
stay closed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's
a couple
very
issues.
difficult to actually rotate doing that.
Yes, it is.
You're not going to get very open at impact. So, all right, let's go back to that kind of club as far away from the target as it's going to be, hips, body, everything's pretty good. Now, when we look at gears data, that's going to be about a 1-inch lateral move off the golf ball with the lower body and the upper body. So very minimal, less than the width of a golf ball.
Okay.
All right, so as he continues to go back, so that move he just made is the spot we're looking for. When that club starts to move back towards the target, that's when his body, his center of his pelvis, the center of his torso are going to start to recenter.
So right, middle,
Yep.
right? But now on the downswing, I'm going to close this gap.
That's right.
Right? So instead of me, what most of you, or what some of you may be guilty of doing, a lot of players are, is continuing to rotate and rubbing on this chair the whole time.
Right. Or quiet takeaway, and then at the top,
Lurch to the
lurch
right.
that way, which gives you an enormous amount of room to try to cover in the downswing, which doesn't turn out well.
Or even, like you said, they cheated.
That's right. So let's look at the recentering part of it again.
Okay.
So his body is going to move a little laterally early. Right? Some players do, some players don't. It's not a must, but we typically see about a 1-inch movement there.
Was as you start to turn.
Right? So as he keeps the club head moving, now we're going to see two things start to happen here. We're going to see the body continually rotating away from the target in the closed backswing position as the body starts shifting forward.
It's like that's the
recentering.
secret move right there.
Right, and you can think of it no more than this big weight that I'm putting on his club head now, I'm pulling him towards me. And it's just a little bit. So if you can get here by the top of the swing when the club is moving at its slowest, and you shift, that's the best time to shift because you're not going to disrupt that. Now, if you wait, so if you go max pressure at the top of the backswing,
And max turn.
now you're going to try to shift as you're trying to pick up club head speed, the club's going to suffer. Right? It's going to be much more difficult to play in it, much more difficult to hit a consistent path with it.
You're trying to do too much at that point, too late also.
Yes, this is exactly right. The club, you need to be stabilized, right, to start building club head speed.
You need to put your
Consistently.
put your body in an advantageous
That's
spot,
right.
right?
That's right. You wouldn't pull on a big heavy object by trying to pull at the same time. You would brace and then pull.
100%
Yes.
right.
So that's what we're looking for in the golf swing. We have to use the early part of the golf swing to allow that to happen. We can't do it all in the downswing. We can't pull, stabilize, and then speed up and get open. It's not going to happen. So that's what we mean by recentering. Let's show them again. You can use two chairs. You can use, if you want to do it inside.
Get a
you can
mirror or
use
something you can see yourself.
Alignment sticks, tape on a mirror, any of these things. First, do it slow. There.
That's the
shift.
magic move right there.
Then as you come down, you have very, very little lateral motion, lateral movement to cover. But you're still going to be well onto this front side. Pressure is going to be left early. We talk about that all the time. But it's because of this recentering move that makes that so easy to do. Now, let's talk about a drill that's gonna help you do that. All right, Sean, the recentering drill. Very short drill, very quick drill, but we're gonna do it in a progression, and we're gonna do it, you have to kind of, like video games, you gotta pass certain levels to keep progressing up the clubs. So we're gonna start this drill with a wedge. Any wedge is fine. Once you take your address, we'll just put a ball down here for reference. All right, normal address. Again, this is focusing on recentering. So we're gonna put the shaft farthest away from the target. Your pressure is gonna be maxed on your right foot at this point.
At this point, I'm also kind of lifting my heel a fraction just to lighten up the foot.
It's a lightened left heel, absolutely right.
Okay, I'm good there.
Okay, now this is the starting point of your swing. From there, you're gonna finish the backswing as you recenter. And the goal is to do them both at the same time. That's why we're starting with short clubs, slow. When you get that nailed, then we go to a 7-iron, and then we're gonna progress to a driver.
Great drill, by the way.
All right, so let's do our starting point. We're gonna check it, pressure's right, and we're gonna finish the backswing. But how was that? Looked a little late on the
It
recentering.
was, and that's my
Okay, that's fine. Everybody's got a tendency.
My
Let's try it
issue,
again. So if that's late and that's your tendency, I want you to feel the recentering start
Got it.
before the
I
rotation.
think I've got it.
There we go. That was synced up.
That felt good.
So your own feeling, you have to tweak the timing of those things.
Absolutely.
So we can tell you what needs to take place. You guys have got to do these drills on your own slowly so you can tell what feels you need to make these things happen, okay? You're hitting 10 out of 10, really solid doing that. Then we're gonna go to a 7-iron and do the same thing.
Lighten
And we're
up
doing
the
just
heel.
coasting speed, right? Okay, I think that was a little late again. So the club's a little longer.
For me, you know, if I lighten up the heel here, I got to put it down right away.
That's exactly right.
I'm late to
Again,
put it down.
This is a drill to really force us to do what
Yeah, my
we're starting it
awareness-
there for it to show up at the top.
Got it.
Good. There we go.
That's the feeling.
Again, and we're not trying to worry about how the head's moving and all that. This is a drill to change the timing of all these things. We don't have issues with the head when guys are doing this at full speed.
And I think, you know, over the years, I've done a lot of these drills. I've been playing golf since I was 5, and I've
Right.
had every teacher that you could probably think of in your mind. And, you know, I did a lot of these drills, but I did them without the focus on the pressure. So let's say I was working on a drill for the backswing. You know, let's say I was posing something. Well, I didn't know that I was hurting my swing by posing.
You have thousands and thousands and thousands of repetitions of doing this the opposite way.
Yeah, so this is, you know, once a lot of this stuff comes from Mike because he's had the swing catalyst the longest. So it's like, listen, man, you don't want to be posing your backswing and just stopping up there on your right foot. That's too late.
That's right.
If you're posing backswings, you remember if this club is changing direction, you need to be start recentering. I mean, the light bulbs go off in people's heads.
So if you're a guy that likes to do a lot of mirror work,
Yeah,
make this the top of your backswing and then get to the top of the backswing dynamically.
that's a
You can
great
do it slow and still
statement.
check it in the mirror, but you just don't want to start posing in the mirror.
And I haven't heard hardly anybody talk about this, but that right there could unlock your whole swing, right?
Yeah, it's
Because
a big deal.
if you're doing drills, now you're doing drills that help the actual dynamic motion.
That's right. We all can pose pretty good spots in the golf swing. As soon as we start adding motion to that, things fall apart. It's because we don't train for it.
So
So, all right, so he's nailed 10 perfect ones with his wedge, 10 perfects with his 7-iron. Now we're gonna do it with the driver, and it's gonna be difficult, but you're gonna do it because you're gonna do it slow at first.
yeah, and you're just chipping balls out there.
That's right.
This is not grab the driver.
The progression is get all these at super coasty speeds, really solid, then go back to the wedge, start adding a little more speed, progress up, a little more speed.
So I'm here, lighten the
Yep.
foot. I might even have a little more motion with the driver.
Now the timing of this is going to feel different to produce the same result. That's the point of all this. You have to understand what the timings are and the feels. There we go.
That's the feeling I need to have. Over here, heel up, heel down, recenter as the club goes over my head. Now I can wheel this hip back and around, not sliding.
We're
I'm
not
here.
trying to push off late in the downswing. That's a terrible way to do this. Right? Because
is.
you're not going to be able to stop it. We want to get it here, recenter. The momentum of this through swing is going to have you where you need to be at impact, but you've got to start it early enough by this recentering move. That's one of the biggest secrets that we found between amateurs and professionals. And typically pros hit it a lot longer than AMs do. And this is one of those key moves why they do it.
Just don't tell anybody.
If you like more distance instantly, We put together a video just for that. All you need to do to get that video is click on the link below, and the first pinned comment will ask for your name, your email, and we'll send it out to you immediately.
If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Once you do that, click on notifications so you know when we have a brand new video coming out right away.
Right, we want to make this channel's content just for you guys, just for your golf game. So leave us some comments down below if you'd like to see something that we haven't already covered or want to see it covered in a different way. We'll do our best to get that for you as soon as we can. And don't forget, if you want to hit the ball farther, click the link below in the first pinned comment.
Get you some instant distance.
Instant.